this. If it is revert back from the surface of this water molecule or water droplet, so it is called reflection. Clear? And if light in the other direction, so it is called diffraction. Diffraction means the light is, when it incident on water droplet, it revert back the direction and going to the in this direction. This is called diffraction. And if this light is crossing this medium and going through the water droplet, that is, first one here was your air medium, and from air to it cross the water. So it changes its medium of traveling. So that's why incident is called refraction. So you should know the difference between reflection, diffraction, and now I'm taking any solid, for example, NaCl, which has which is a ionic crystal, have Na plus and Cl minus. Uh, Na plus and Cl minus ion, like this. Now this is one plane, this is second plane, and this is third. So the distance between these two planes, that is the interplanar distance, is d. You already know this. Now I am saying the light is incident on falling on this crystal like this at an angle of theta. So it first reflected from the upper surface like this. So this is also theta, because from the law of reflection, the incident angle is equal to the angle of reflection. Then a second light is crossing, somehow striking the second layer or second plane, and then it reflected back or diffracted by these ions in this way, and this is this angle also theta. Why? Because any parallel line, for any two parallel line, if this angle is theta, this angle also will be theta. So this is law of mathematics, very simple logic. When the two lines are parallel with each other, then the angle of incidence of this two line or the two plane will be same. So this is theta, this is also theta. Similarly, this will be theta. Now if this is your interplanar distance, that is d. Now I am joining this two, straight line. Maybe this is your A, B, and C, and the angle is, it is very understood that the angle is 90. If this angle is 30, this angle is 30, this angle will be also 30. For example, if I say first one is value is 30 degree, okay, this is also 30. If this is 30, this whole angle is 90. If this is total 90, and I am telling this is 30, so obviously 90 minus 30, this angle will be 60. This is 60, this is 90, because this is also it is perpendicular to this plane, to this ray. So this is a 90, this is 60. And if I say this is a triangle, and for any triangle, the total number of the total angle value is 180. Okay, if one of them is better, so like this. If one angle is 90, another is 60, this is 90, 90 plus 60, 150. So total, if total is 180, obviously this will be 30. So this angle is 30, and you see this is 30, this is 30, so this is also 30. So we can say theta, theta, and this is also theta. Now, if I say this is 90 and this is theta, so you know sine theta is this line by this line. If I say this is AB and C, so it will be better is called D. It will be like this, AB by BD. Okay, so AB by BD, and your AB is the this one. Since the 90 is here and this is theta, so your AB is this one, and your so AB is D in this case, and this is your B. No, this is AB and this is D. So your D, sorry, this. But if you are from biology background, you just simply say this AB, since this value is theta, this AB value will be this interplanar distance, that is D, and the angle theta, so it is D sine theta. You just simply remember this one. And why I am interested to determine the AB value? Now you see these two lines or these two rays are parallel or equal up to this length. From here to here, the length is same, and this one also similar, same. Only difference is that this one, that means the second ray travel this extra distance from this one, first one. So that means its path difference between two is AB plus BC. This is called path difference. Why? Because it extra travel this wavelength. Now it is said that if, and the wave you can draw like this, okay, and the second one will be like this. Sorry, better to in this way. So if you from physics, it is said that if two rays is like this, that means they are in phase, they are similar, and the resultant will be the summation of these two. If this peak is 5, this is also 5, so it will be 10. That means they will sum up and result in a more higher intense peak. So in this way, this X-ray, if they are in phase, they will be positive, and this incident is called interference, or you can say positive interference. Now I say if they are like this, if this is plus 5, so this will be in the negative direction, so it will be minus 5, and the resultant will be 0. You can say easily see from this figure that when this is going up, this is down, so obviously the resultant will be 0. So it is called negative interference. Now for these two rays, the condition of this positive interference, that means we get the resultant refracted beam when this path difference of the second one, that is AB plus BC, when it will be equal to n some integer and the lambda, that is the wavelength of the this ray. Getting my point? I'm showing this one so that you understand what is the meaning of his positive interference. Now difference will occur when their path difference of the second one, that is the AB plus BC, will be integer some integer n, and lambda is the wavelength of the X-ray, and integer value is 1, 2, 3, and so on. And this is called order of reflection, first order refraction or diffraction, second order diffraction. What does it mean? It means if I say this is the when the X-ray continuously incident on this crystal. If I say first, when we get a peak, when first we peak at 10 degree, 10 degree, when the angle was 10 degree, for example, and then we get peak like this, first peak, then again from another X-ray at 30 degree, we again get similar type of peak, maybe at 60, 90 or 100. That means at this different angle, that means in all this angle we get this positive interference or your resultant peak. The first one, when the angle for which we get the first peak is called the first order diffraction. That is the minimum angle for which we get this resultant peak. It is called first order. The second is second order, third order, and so on. So this is the order of diffraction. Now our target is to determine this what is this AB plus BC value, and we know that plus BC. Now this is, if this angle is theta, so this will be D and sine theta. And AB is also equal to BC. Why? Because they are parallel rays. So if this angle theta, similar way, this is also theta. And if I determine the angle, this angle, so this also be theta. So from here, with BC similar to AB, we can determine BC value is also D, because this is the interplanar distance D and all sine theta. So since you will write like this, since AB equal to BC, so we can write from here AB plus AB is n lambda and 2AB is n lambda, or AB, what is the value of AB? It is D sine theta, to 2D sine theta equal to n lambda. And this equation is called Bragg equation, because W.H. Bragg determined or derived this equation. So this is for this equation he got Nobel Prize, Physics Nobel Prize 1915, I think, Physics Nobel Prize. And this is very simple equation, but very important, because it relates the interplanar distance of crystal, the angle of incident of X-ray, and the lambda means wavelength of X-ray. So this relation is very important to determine the distance of any unknown crystal, or the lambda of X-ray. So small, very important equation, and its numerical is given. I will give numerical from this equation. Now you see, I am showing you a numerical. It is very interesting. You see, a first order reflection from 111 plane of a cubic crystal was observed at a glancing angle of 60 degree when X-ray of lambda equal to 154 picometer were used. Calculate A, that is the diameter, not diameter, the length of the cubic, side length of the lattice. So the data given are first order reflection, that is n equal to 1 plane, this is HKL, that is the Miller indices value is 111, and it is cubic crystal, the crystal is cubic, the incident angle is 60 degree, the lambda is 154 picometer, that is 10 to the minus 10, and they asked to determine A. So this is given, and they asked to determine what is the value of A. So we will use 2D sine theta equal to n lambda, 2 into D into sine 60, and n is 1 and lambda is 154. Now we know D, what is the value of sine 60? It is under root 3 by 2, and this is 154. Similar way, and since some of the students from bio group, so I will mention this value of sine 60 for here. For example, here, if I say sine 30, the value will be half, sine 90, it will be 0 sine 0 is sorry, this is 1 and this is 0. So in this way that the value will be provided. And for sine 60, it value is under root 3 by 2, 2 to cancel, so your d is 154 by root 3. Now if simply ask what is the interplanar distance or distance between any two planes, so you can put the answer is this, but they have extended this numerical to this point to determine a. And in the previous class I show you from the this formula 1 by d square equal to h square by a square plus k square by l square sorry k square by b square plus l square by c square. And for cubic crystal, since a equal to b equal to c, this is for cubic crystal. This relation simplified, and it was like this one: a by h square plus k square plus l square. For cubic crystal, this relation becomes simple. It is like this. Put the value of d here. This is 154 by root 3, and you have to determine a. What is the value of HKL? You see here 111. That is 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, and it is nothing but root 3. And this is 154 by root 3. Root 3 cancel out, and your A is 154 picometer. That is, it is, if this is one crystal, if this is one cubic crystal, this A value is comparable with the lambda of X-ray. This is also 154. And since they are same, if any X-ray is incident on it, it will be reflected back. Okay, and it is the condition to refracted or for any X-ray, it should be the wavelength range should be equal to the this A or dimension of the crystal. If I say why this is so, if I say this is a big crystal like this, and incident light coming like this, so it will be, this incident will not happen like this one going to the second layer. They simply reflected back from the all the 100% will be reflected back from the surface, because this is so big, and the dimension is, for example, 10 to the minus 9 meter, and this lambda is 10 to the minus 10. So it is high value, so it will not depend. Or if I say this is so small, in 10 to the minus 12, okay, then the light will be like this, like this, because this is so small, it will not strike the surface. So small, it will cover up the whole thing and simply passing through this. So that's why the wavelength range should be comparable with this, so that it is strike or incident on this and reflected, and some portion is absorbed on the crystal and reflected from the second layer. So this is this equation is Bragg equation, and this is the EM method. Now I will show you what is the different method to determine this d value or theta value, or use of this Bragg equation by two methods.
Ma'am, please allow, students are waiting. Some students.
Okay. Fine. That is the methods, different method. First one is rotating angle, and I will show you the figure directly from my notes, because it will take time to draw the figure. Now you see rotating angle diffraction or rotating crystal method. You see here, this is a setup from where X-ray is coming. This is X-ray, that means X-ray is produced from here, and although it is not important, but I am mentioning here. X-ray is, this is two side, cathode and anode, and high voltage is applied, and it is like a filament. It's one filament is here, and when you apply high voltage, electron will release or will coming from this filament, and it strike that one metal, which is tungsten. Tungsten metal. This high, high velocity electron will strike the surface of this tungsten, and for this high velocity striking, the X-ray will release. If I say I am striking this, this book like this one. So if you strike like this, nothing will happen. If you strike with very high velocity, you will see your hand will be warm up. That means some heat will release. In this way, due to the high velocity of this electron, some energy is released. For example, in my case, heat energy is released. But since the velocity of electron is very high, so high energy release, and high energy release that in the form of X-ray. Because X-ray is electromagnetic radiation, and it is bundle of energy. So some energy is released in the form of this X-ray is we will incident on the crystal. Now you see, we use a filter before incident on the crystal. Why? Because X-ray is composed of the many wavelengths. Maybe in the picometer range, in the angstrom range, or maybe the value will be different. But in this case, we will use the single wavelength X-ray. If you see this 2D sine theta is n lambda. Lambda, if since the X-ray coming from that chamber is a composed of a range of wavelength, and we will select a single wavelength, and it is called the monochromatic light. When the light is composed only a single wavelength, it is called monochromatic light, and the first one was polychromatic. Okay, that was a polychromatic light. This is monochromatic, that is only single. If I say 150 picometer, so I am choosing only or selecting only this wavelength. And now you see, for selecting that particular wavelength, we use a filter. It filtered, it allow only the 150 picometer wavelength or X-ray, and reflected back, or it will not allow the remaining. Now this 150 picometer X-ray, that is the monochromatic X-ray, is incident on the crystal. Okay, and you see this is a rotating table. We continuously rotate this table like this continuously, so that and we'll record the result on this recording device. It is a photographic plate. So why we rotate the table? Because you see, if I say this is a crystal, a single crystal, okay, NaCl for example, a single crystal, and now it is on the turning table, and the incident the X-ray like this. Since it is in the same in the perfect position, it will diffract some light here, or you can say like this. But if I say initially it was like this, and light is coming in this way, so position is not perfect or is not perfectly oriented, so it will simply passing through. Now that's why we turn this table continuously, so that the position of this crystal changes, and in some place, in some it will remain like this or like this. So in this way, we continuously changing the position of this crystal by rotating this table, so that we get the perfect angle. That means here lambda is fixed because we have used monochromatic light, but we are changing the angle, and at a particular angle, when we get the maximum result on the recording device, you can see your result from this device. It's a photographic plate, like taking photo, and you will see when the maximum diffraction is getting, and that angle is the perfect angle for this case. So angle is continuously changing here. Now you get the angle, and the lambda is already known. So from here you determine the D value. Okay. And so this is one method. And for the second method is, now we use monochromatic light instead of polychromatic. In this case, we fix this angle. That is, we are not rotating the crystal. The crystal position is fixed, but we'll change the D value. How we change the D value? Now, instead of taking a single crystal, we cross the crystal and take the powder form of the crystal. When you cross the crystal into many crystallites, that means you divide this crystal in many crystallites, small crystal, and they have different orientation. That means different D value. Now, instead of we will take the powder in a glass test tube, or we can say glass, this way. Okay, and the this is called the powder method, and the figure is like this. See, form this tube, and now you, after filter the X-ray, you allow the monochromatic X-ray beam to fall on the powder specimen. Now, after falling on this, you get a number of diffraction due to the crystallites, that is number of small crystal. Now you see the number of crystal, and there is a hole in this photographic plate. This is also photographic film, and there is a hole. The unrefracted light or X-ray will exist through this, and the light will diffracted, we record. This is a plate. Whatever will happen, it will record as a live camera. So you will get an image like this, and you see this is one diffraction, this is another diffraction, this is another diffraction. You will get the shadow or point for each diffraction, and the result will be like this. Since this is powder, one diffraction in this way, a circular arc is getting, and but our this plate is like in this way. There is a entry for X-ray. This is your powder smoker, and it is like this. Better to say it is like this. This type of in 3D, and X-ray is coming through this side, this one through the side, and there is a hole. If I say in this here, there is a hole, and X-ray is coming, and the undifracted will passing through this hole, and the diffracted will diffract from crystal or powder here, and they will show the shadow on this film. Since this film is recording only this portion is your recording portion, and we are getting this line here also. This will record only this portion, although we get this one, but in our recording device we'll get like this. So instead of getting the circular, you will get a result like this. This is your hole at the middle, and in both sides, if I cut this, so it will be like this. So the result is like this one. It is actually, this is this one, but since this is only recording this portion, the result is like this is your center or hole, and the distance from both sides is equal. From here to here is equal. Now that means your D is here changing and theta is fixed, because for a particular, since it has fixed in position, the D value will be, theta value will be fixed, lambda is fixed, and from here different D value you will get the calculate the value. So this is two methods for calculating D and lambda. Now so this is somehow boring, but you have to understand. And the importance of this applications, I can say. One more query is, you have any class from 9 o'clock? Another class? Please answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We have class from 8:55.
So there is a small topic, very easy. So I will cover it so that from next class I can start the new chapter. You see, they have said that what is determine the crystal structure of NaCl, KCl, and CaCl. Now you see, determine the structure of NaCl, KCl, and CaCl. Um, this is your NaCl structure, and they are Na plus at the corner of the cubic. Um, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I am out of disconnected, but I did not get any idea, so that's why. Now you see, plus are at the corners of the cubic structure. So they have FCC. The Na plus have FCC structure. That means they are Na plus at the corners as well as at the face of the uh, each center. Or you can say for any crystal, Na plus, if I say Na plus, there will be force of repulsion due to the similar charge. So that's why crystal are formed like this. Ionic crystal Na plus, then Cl minus, then Na plus, alternate plus and minus. Since this is Na plus, this is Cl minus, Na plus, so there must be a Cl minus in between two Na plus. So I am denoting this with this star, although it is like this, but for differentiating between this, I am switching stop. So this is your Cl minus. Similarly, here also Cl minus, Cl minus, Cl minus, Cl minus. Okay. Now you see, if I connecting this Cl minus, you see again two Cl are side by side, or so you have to introduce Na plus in between them. Now you see Cl minus, Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus. In this way, you just write alternative Na plus and Cl minus, and now you see here another Na plus. In this case also another Na plus, Na plus, and this one, for this one also Na plus. Okay. Now you see Na plus at the corners as well as okay. Now you see Na plus at the corners as well as at the face center of each face. This is one face or one plane in the center, in the center of face, in the center of face. So the position of Na plus is corners and face center. That means at the center of the face. Now you see, and similarly, I am writing the Cl minus. For Cl minus, it is at the center of edge. That is the center of edges. This is one edge or dimension. This is one edge. So they are at the center of each edge, and also one Cl minus will be at the center. If I connect in these two like this, so there will be at the center, there will be another Cl minus. So at the main center. Now I will calculate the number of Na plus for a single unit cell. Per unit cell, what is the number of Na plus? You know, one Na plus is shared by 8 unit cell. Okay, this Na plus actually like this. If I say this is a Na plus, so it is shared by 8 unit cell here in the above, in the below. In this way, this 1 Na plus or 1 ion is shared by 8 unit cell. That means from 1 Na plus single unit cell will get only 1/8, that is 1/8 of Na plus, because it is shared by 8 unit cell. So it is 1/8 per corner, it is 1/8 of 1 Na plus, and you have total 8 corners, so multiplied by 8. So at the corners, if I calculate the number of Na plus per unit cell, it will be 1. Getting my point? Because it is shared by 1. My camera is disturbing. Now at the, so it is 1 at the face center. Any, if I say this is one face, and at the center I have Na plus, and it is shared by two face, like this side and this side. So one Na plus is shared by two face, so one by half, and you have total 6 faces per unit cell. So this is 3. So total number of Na plus will be 3 plus 1, that is 4. 3 at the face center, and it is seen like this. It seems like that total whole Na plus is here, but it is shared by from by another unit cell. Similarly, for Cl minus, this H position is shared by 4. 1, 2 here, and 3, 4 in the above. So center is shared by 4 unit cell, that is 1/4 per side, and you have total 12 edges. So it will be multiplied by 12. So 3, it is 3. And center, at the center, it is not shared by anyone, because at the center there is no sharing with other unit cell. So this is totally single Cl minus. So here also the number of Cl minus is 4. So Na plus and Cl minus number is 4:4 or 1:1. So that's why the number is NaCl crystal structure. And the coordination number is the number when the, now for example, this is your Cl minus. When this Cl minus and the surrounding opposite ion is called the coordination number. And if I take this one, so you will see for this Na plus, the number of Cl minus will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and 6 from the other side. So total 6 number of Cl minus is surrounding the Na plus, and similarly 6 Na plus will surrounding Cl minus, and 6 Cl minus will Na plus. So coordination number for both Na plus coordination number, that is the number of opposite ion surrounding this. For Na plus as well as Cl minus, the coordination number will be 6, 6. Now, the similar structure is for KCl. Simply you replace this Na plus with K plus, and the remaining will be same. It will also have FCC. Now, in case of CSCl, it has BCC structure. That means the structure will be like this. If this is CSCl, the Cl minus is at the corners like this. At the corners, this is Cl minus, and there is only a single Cs molecule or ions at the center of, and it is connected by the remaining, or yes. So in this way, for Cl minus, since they are only at the corner, not at the face, so Cl minus 1/8, and it is total 8 corners, so 1. And since single Cs at the center, at the center there will be no sharing, so Cs plus will be 1. And the structure of CSCl is 1:1. That is total number of Cs is 1, Cl minus is also 1. So it is CSCl. And the coordination number, you see the Cs is surrounding by the opposite Cl minus. The number is total 8. The coordination number is 8. And for this is 1. Since, and in this way total 8 Cs plus from other unit cell will surround it. This is 1. Similarly from this one another 1. Since this is shared by 8, so it is 8. Also coordination number for Cs plus as well as Cl minus is also 8. And if I say for CaCl2, if I say CaCl2 for example, then maybe the number will be like this: 8:4. For example, this is 4:4 or 4 atoms and 4 ions and 4 ions. In this case, it will be like 8 ions and 4 ions, and that means 2:1. That means to balance one Ca plus, you have to give 2 Cl minus. 2 Cl minus is comparable with 1 Ca plus. That's why the ionic structure is CaCl2. In this way, we can calculate the number of Na plus or ions in per unit cell. So this is all about your this chapter, solid state. Now you read from Puri Sharma or from in my notes, you will understand or more clearly.